Good afternoon again. Good morning, or good evening. The time you watch this video, it's a follow-up on the on our um, on our yes on our lab and lecture videos. This is DCS216 computer hardware maintenance and repairs 2. I want to quickly introduce us to command prompts. When we need to start using commands. Commands are very important to us. Yes, because of the type of things we need to be doing as maintenance personnel, as super user, as administrators, you need to start learning how to use commands. You can discover, you need to understand that the current Windows operating system, they are all built on on commands. Disk operating system, that's the DOS that started. So earlier order from DOS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Before we now start forgetting about commands now because Windows has made it easy for us to use to click on icon using our mouse, and then we're getting things done. But for us who are computer professionals, computer maintenance personnel, technicians, engineers, you need to learn how to use commands. Even as programmers, you need to learn how to use commands. So that's why we normally, because when the Windows, that means the GUI, graphical user interface, the graphical user interface has any problem, you will not see the beautiful colors again. So you now need to know how to pull out the the commands and start using them. So I'm going to introduce you very briefly to these commands, and which I will now expect you to do an assignment on. So look at all these commands here. In this article present a list of commands used by Windows operating system. You have them here. These are just commands: append, assign, attrib, backup, and restore. All these things you are using in Windows, they actually have DOS command background. Okay, any icon you are clicking that is doing something has a link to a file that is a command. Okay, that's an application or a command. So these are basic programming or basic programming language that we use in the olden days. Call, cd, change directory, chcp, check disk. Okay, yeah, you can also use check disk. Okay, check disk can also be used to repair your disk when there's a problem, to correct bad sector. Check disk /r/ whatever. We're going to see that later. And you can also see choice, CLS, copy, CTTY, date, defrag. So I'm going to give you an assignment, okay? Go through all this, and you need to write on at least 25 of these commands. 25 of these commands. You see, you write the command, you need to use your hand and submit so that you're able to understand this. You write the command, write the function it performs, and then the usage, how you can use it, the usage format with all the switches that we normally look at. So this is going to help you to really appreciate commands. Defrag is here, del or erase, del tree, directory, echo, all these things. We were using them before. Fdisk, now format is here, and you need to know destructive and non-destructive commands. So you will need to also categorize them under destructive and non-destructive commands. This will be your next assignment. Need to be done on group basis, okay? Destructive and non-destructive commands. Destructive and non-destructive command. And then you now, give us the name of the command, the function of the command, how it, the function, and then the usage, the format for using it, so that you'll be able to have a good, standing on this. So once you're able to get this, you are good to go. You'll be, you'll be very, very, okay. Sorry for that break. I continue sharing the screen. Okay, let me continue sharing the screen. Okay, I'm sharing this now. Um, okay, you will see that there's a section called command processing. The command interpreter for DOS runs when no application programs are running. Command when the computer is booting, it loads command.com, which is the command interpreter, and then when an application exits, if the tracian portion of the command interpreter in memory was overwritten, DOS will load it from the disk. Now, some commands are called internal commands. They are built into command.com. Some are called external, that's stored on disk. So that's why when you are typing a command and it says it's not recognized, or it's not, it means it is not an internal command to the command.com interpreter, to the command interpreter, okay? So, but that means you have to really get to the directory where that command is stored before you can run that command. So when the user types a line of text at the operating system command prompt, command.com will pass the line and attempt to match a command name to a built-in command or to the name of an executable program file or a batch file on the disk. If no match is found, an error message is printed and the command prompt is refreshed. So external commands were too large to keep in the command processor, or they were less frequently used. So that's why they have to be, how do they put on disk. So such utility program will be stored on disk, loaded just like regular applications program, but were distributed with operating system disk because they are important. So copies of this utility command program have to be accessed on that disk, and for them to be accessible, they must either be on the current drive or on the command path is set in the command interpreter. So that's why at times you have to set the path command. Means you have to set the path in the autoexec.bat in those days. But now you may need to do that using config 6, or you can type that directly from the command prompt. Now, the list below command that can be that can accept more than one file or a file name, including wildcards or question mark, are set to accept a file specification parameter. Commands that can accept only a single file name are set to accept a file name parameter. Okay. Additional command line switches or other parameter strings can be supplied on the command line. Spaces and symbols such as / dash may be used to allow the command processor to pass the command line into file names, file description, and other options. These are other options that can change the behavior of that command or can, fine-tune the function of that command. The command interpreter preserves the case of whatever parameters are passed to command, and the command names themselves and file names are case insensitive. Okay, in DOS they are not case sensitive. Okay, they are case sensitive. While many commands are the same across many DOS systems, you know, um, uh, PC, MS-DOS and PC-DOS, some differ in command syntax or name. So these are DOS commands that you can go through. These are actually their functions to make it easier for you to carry out the assignment I gave you. Append, assign, attribute. We will be using this. Attribute is to change the attributes of one or more file. There are basic attributes of a file: read only, archive, system, and hidden. So you have R, A, S, H. These are the attributes: read only, archive, system, hidden. There are other ones that, oh, these are the ones that are very, very popular. Now, you can just look at all this and check through, you know, to know their functions. And you now see how you can use them. And then from there, this is CLS to clear your screen, copy, date, defrag, all this one that I've just showed you before. This is the deep explanation of them. Del tree, del, erase, dir, all these things. You need to know their 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 function, and then how they are used. I mean, that is the usage. So edit lane, all these ones are becoming, this is convert a schedule file into binary file, okay? These are with extension.com. Now, this is exec to bin, which is, which is someone used by programmers and all that when you want to write applications. Now, exit, fast open, file compare, FC, and comp. Fdisk is what we use most of the time when we're dealing with Windows 95, Windows 98, and the Windows 3.1. We have to do Fdisk, and there's some part of Windows, you know, the other Windows that came that we have to partition, with Fdisk, and before we eventually format. Find for this one I use in loop, when you are passing, you know, uh, loop to a file or to a command. When you try to do something in batch processing, we do that. Format can, you know, format the hard drive, uh, put the, so you have to be able to differentiate between destructive and non-destructive commands. Destructive commands are commands that can make you lose your file. Like format is one of them, delete is one of them. So any command that can make you to lose your file, they are referred to as destructive commands. The ones that don't allow that will not lead to loss of files, then we say they are destructive commands. I mean, they are non-destructive commands. Take note again. The ones that allow that result in loss of your file is destructive, like partition, format, delete, Fdisk, all those ones. They are, they are destructive. The ones that are not destructive, we call them non-destructive commands. They don't lead to any loss of file. Okay. Now we have all these ones that I've been using before, and they are doing good work for us. Load high. These are memory, how to use our high mem, all that. Just read through. Now this is where we talk about our, conventional memory and upper memory. Uh, you know, talk about all these memory management uh, programs. They are utilities for memory management. They are normally stored in autoexec.bat and config.sys files, which will allow most programs to run automatically. Uh, so we have high mem. These are memory uh, optimization utilities. Mode, more, move, Microsoft Diagnosis for MS-DOS 6, and you know uh, and we use it to do a lot of diagnostics, of the hardware and software So now that the command first appear in 3.1, word 2, and then 3.10. Path is very good to set path for executable files. Not only that, pause, print, remove directory, you see them, rem, like a comment in our batch files in autoexec.bat or config.sys, config.sys. Then we have rename, we have Scandisk, okay? Scandisk was a replacement for checkdisk utility, starting with later version of MSF. So Scandisk and checkdisk, they can, checkdisk has surface scan and batch cluster detection functionalities included and was used again in Windows. So you can see, so checkdisk can do better when you are dealing with cluster and batch sector detection. I mean, batch cluster and, um, sector detection, okay? Then set var, share, all these ones, smart drive, socks, substitute. This one can, map subsidiary to a drive later. Sys, these are, we use to make a volume bootable, to write the volume boot code into, into the disk, which will have a io.sys input and output sys, and then ms file like ms.sys, and command can come to that volume, and then it will be bootable. Okay, time set 3, true name. All these ones program just commands. On delete, to talk in them, mention in the class that is it possible to recover, a file that have been deleted or a hard drive that have been formatted, or yes, there are tools that can be used, and on delete also can also be used for that. Now, var, version of your operating system. These are the ones you need to look at. Now you talk about WinVar to look at the version of your window. Verify, xcopy. This is an example of config.sys, consists of 6 from MS.5 or higher. So the things we normally put there before number of files and all that. Then you see all this example with 6.0. This is the example of config.sys. This is autoexec.bat, which allows automatic execution of some commands that are put there. Now, this is what I want you to go through and to help you to write the assignment I just gave now. So this assignment will be submitted by the end of this week. Okay, at least 25 commands and categorized under destructive and non-destructive command, and then internal and external commands. Okay. Now, let me also talk about 15 commands every window user should know. Okay. There are 15 commands every window user should know. Those commands, very, very important. Okay. I will just mention them in a brief, and then we will now take them gradually. Assop, that is associate. Okay. Cipher, this is to make sure that any file deleted cannot be recovered again. Okay. This example. Driver query. This one allows you to query driver that are installed on a particular Windows. Driver remains among the most important software installed on a PC. Properly configured or missing driver can cause all sorts of trouble. So it's good to have access to a list of what's on your PC. Driver query can do that. Driver query -v can obtain even more information about the driver you have installed. File compare, we have talked about that. So you can use it, These are examples of how it can be used. So this one is explaining more about it. Then Ipconfig, this is what we use to, test communication. To get the IP configuration of the system we're currently using, the IP address and other, you know, um, things that have to do with networking. The NetStat, that is statistics of the network, related currently open ports and related IP addresses. Ping is to detect communication between two PCs on the network. Path ping, the same thing, but it does more. It gives you more information, just like then we also have trace sat. Then power config, command to really help in managing hibernate or attribute and all that. So I will be stopping here because of my time. Shut down. Let me. Okay, I want to quickly. Sorry, I want to quickly finish this recording. I want to finish this quickly. Tac leaks is also there. You can have a hands-on them. Can list the list of tasks you're running on your PC. Can also the task manager also has that, but it does more. Can also see task kill conclusion. You need to have. Now there's something I need to point out very quickly because of the time limit I have here. Recovery image also you can create it here. Okay, read up this this uh, this this piece. System file checker you can use to check and repair system files that are having problem. Then this shutdown, I want you to take note of this shutdown, very, very important. This shutdown /R/O can help you to restart your PC and launch advanced startup options where you can access save mode and Windows recovery utility that you can use to correct a lot of problems. It's very, very useful if you want to restart your computer for troubleshooting purposes. Thank you. I will stop here. Make sure that you take the assignment serious and submit. This assignment will be on group basis, okay? So thank you for this for your time. Bye for now.